In my last two sessions, I spoke about the soul and the spirit. But as I notice, many of us do not know first what the soul is or the spirit, and neither do they know the difference between the soul and the spirit. Like I said, it is very important for us to know these two essential aspects of life, the soul and the spirit. Because when we claim body, mind and spirit, or body, mind and soul, we should know what the soul and the spirit is. It's very essential. It's the subject of spiritualism. It's the subject of us. Us. Because spirit is who we are. Not body and mind. Spirit is who we are. We never say, I am the mind or I am the body. We always say, my mind and my body, meaning we are not body and mind. Body and mind belongs to us. It's mine. It's my thoughts. So we have three selves. The thinking self, the physical self, and the spiritual self. The physical self we are aware of. The thinking self, yes. That too we are aware of. But the spiritual self, most of us hardly know anything about it. So, let's go further. As we know, all that exists in this universe is energy. One word given. The Vedas give it as Brahman. One without a second, non-dual, absolute, Shanti mantra. It is complete by itself, but within its own self, many other forms appear and disappear. Science, in its law of conservation of energy, gives it as all that exists is one and only energy, constant, indivisible, which can neither be created nor destroyed. But within itself, temporary forms of energies like nuclear, thermal, hydro, psychic, all sorts of energies appear and disappear. So, what is energy? When it is dark energy, it's bliss and equilibrium. Absolutely still. But when it starts to move, it vibrates in different frequencies. It becomes a power. So energy is nothing but power. This power vibrates in multiple frequencies, temporarily forming from stars to the subatomic particles. All matter and consciousness are nothing but energy in having different powers. So, out of all these subset energies in the forms of matter and consciousness, the most supreme is Parabrahman. Beyond all forms of energy. Para means beyond. Paratma, beyond God. Parameshwar. Paratma, beyond consciousness. Parameshwar, beyond God. So, what is this beyond of all beyond? The Spirit. And what is the Spirit? Awareness. It is only after awareness that the universe exists. It is only after awareness God exists. It is only after awareness everything exists. You have to be aware first, then only the mind starts functioning. It is that wakefulness which triggers the mind. So, awareness is the ultimate reality. It's that beingness within the human body and mind, in that being of human body and mind. Awareness is that beingness. That is why we are considered as Thou art that, Tattvamasi, spiritual conscious energy. Conscious is part of the mind, construct of the mind. And spiritual is that spirit residing in the silent zone of the mind, the superconscious section, besides the subconscious and the conscious section. The superconscious section is that God within, and the superconscious section is also called the soul, in which the spirit is settled. It contains the spirit. The spirit, when the spirit, meaning the raw cosmic energy, when it enters the mind, it witnesses. It just witnesses. It's the witness. It's the witness. And soul becomes the witnesser, because the soul is individualized. Spirit is not. Spirit is the witness. It is merely a flow of absolute energy, unmanifested. And the soul is that witnesser. And the mind, the subconscious and the conscious and the rest of the mind, uses that spirit through that witnesser to become aware and conscious. When the mind becomes aware, only after that it becomes conscious. Awareness does not require consciousness. Consciousness requires awareness. So awareness is what reveals and reflects everything through its consciousness. It is the universal energy. It is the subject of who you are. Consciousness is the object of what you are. Because without awareness, I told you, there can be no consciousness. So there's a subject-object relationship. Spirit remains absolute as the divine within. Your mind, having the soul to rely upon, to make itself conscious, is that individual. It is that conscious energy. It can become conscious only after it becomes aware, after utilizing the spirit. So that is the role, or that is what the spirit is within the mind. It is being extracted by the mind, the power extracted by the energy of mind to make it aware. So that is how it goes. The spirit is eternal, whereas the soul appears and disappears after the death of the body and mind. The spirit remains as it is, universally flowing, coming and going out of every human mind. The intensity of which is called awareness. NESS is the intensity of aware energy. consciousness, NESS is the intensity of conscious energy. Redness, NESS is the intensity of the red color in, say, a rose flower. So, it is the intensity of awareness, of individual awareness, which a human mind utilizes. So that is how it is. Soul is that divine consciousness, which creates that divinity in your mind. And ego is that ego consciousness, which creates that devil in the mind. So both the divine and the devil is inside. But it's a flow, waves of energy, where the ego has an I attached to it through its thinking self, whereas the soul has no I attached to it. It's impersonal and impartial. It purely witnesses, whereas the thinking self, the ego, has the me and mine, the selfishness within it. So that is how Jeev Atma is ego, human consciousness. Antaratma is the soul, the divine consciousness, and Paratma, beyond Atma, is the awareness. So this is how the soul is a notch or a grade less than the spirit. Grade less. It's the highest pointer towards the spirit, but it's a grade less. Spirit is at its highest level. So this is what the spirit, soul, and the mind is all about. The mind is conscious and subconscious. Because we are not aware of the spirit and the soul, the mind continues to function over 98%, as claimed by neuroscientists, in a subconscious manner, unconsciously functioning, randomly and recklessly, multitasking into this and that, utilizing your self-awareness, which is at very low intensity. So please remember, spirit is the context, the subject. Body, mind and soul is the content of what you are. Body is revealing how you are. Mind reflects what you are. The spirit remains who you are in waves of absolute energy as that divine within. That is why you are that art thou. Thou art that. So please be attentive in whatever you do, focused in whatever you do. What will happen? The moment you are attentive, you will be alert. When you are alert, you will be aware. And when you are attentive, you will be conscious. And when you are conscious, you will not do something which is unfavorable to you. You will go towards higher consciousness. But if you function as it is happening today, mainly through the subconscious level, it will be only for your me and mine. Me, mine and myself. And you will suffer.